We need better industrial design for the 21st century. Zero waste is a combination of community responsibility, which you've already shown that you're willing to do well, and industrial responsibility. And we have yet to call upon industry. We've assumed that we have to do everything and we can't, because of some of the stupid crap they produce. Now the cement kiln, on the other hand, this is their message to industry. If society can't reuse it, recycle it, or compost it, don't worry, we will burn it in our kilns, and we will save our industry lots of money on fuel and get paid doing it. Of course they want this. There are chief executive officers out there who've said, on the record, that they expect to be making more money burning waste than making cement. This is the profit. That's what they see. Barrels of gold. Now the question I have for you, is Limerick becoming a sacrifice area? Where you start contaminating it, and then it gets, then the ocean it's already polluted, so you bring in another polluter and another savage attack on your environment. Is Ireland going from green to muddy brown? I mean, I've always thought of Ireland as green, and certainly from the plane, it's very green. The person behind me, just before we landed, said, "Woo!" She said, "Ireland is very, very green." And the person next to her said, "Yes, that's because it rains every day." Or even red. And yesterday I had the thrill of meeting Pat and his wife, and they showed me these dreadful red ponds. And today, mud ponds, and today, with the help of Derek, we flew for 55 minutes around this whole region. And what a beautiful country. What a beautiful green country. I'm looking from the air at the most fertile valley in the whole of Europe. The most fertile valley in the whole of Europe, and you see all those farms out there harvesting their crops and tending their sheep and cattle, and then you see this savage red ponds here, built right next to the estuary, just a few feet from the estuary. It's like someone slashing a Renaissance painting. It's like blood. It's blood on your hands. Blood on somebody's hands. And they say, well, this is not toxic. But Pat is making it all up. He's just trying to make money. He's making it all up. Well, I tell you, he's not making it up. And you know how I know? Because the first thing the government does when you have a scandal like this, a pollution scandal like this, and the decision to put this crap here, is that they blame the farmer. Anything that happens, they blame the farmer. In Bonnybridge, Scotland, they blamed Andrew Graham for his cattle dying, not the hazardous waste incinerator. He was a bad husbandry, and yet his animals won prizes before the hazardous waste incinerator. The same thing happened in Pontypool, Wales, with another hazardous waste incinerator. And the same thing happened in Utah, when the sheep were poisoned, died in thousands. Then it turned out it was a release of nerve gas. And the same thing happened again in Michigan, where they poisoned the whole of Michigan. How? Because it was bad farmers. The farmers were doing it. Bad farming. No, what happened is they mixed up fire retardants and animal feed. They came in the same bags, looked the same, they were side by side, and they fed polybrominated biphenyls to the cattle. Not the farmers. Little common sense here. How does that red dust there, that red stuff, get to his farm? It doesn't seem possible, does it? You see it down there, he's up on the hill somewhere. Well, here's a little experiment. A little experiment in common sense. You put on black Wellingtons and cross his field, and when you got to the end of the field, you look at his black Wellingtons, it's got red dust on them. Now, where's that red dust come from? Now, as far as this red mud not being toxic, I urge you to have a look at this. They had an experiment in Western Australia where they deliberately spread red mud of 40 farms. It was an absolute disaster, and you can read that up. There's the website. It's actually on our website, the fluoridealert.org website. And is it toxic? Well, let's look at this. This is a paper written in, I can't see the date there, 2014. But overall, the red mud has a lot of hazardous elements, such as arsenic, lead, chromium, and mercury. There is the potential environmental risk in long-term storage of red mud, right in the heart of your green valley, a few hundred meters from a company making powdered milk sent to China. One day the Chinese are going to find out, they're not going to be happy about it. Here's another paper, and blowing up a little bit here. These two kinds of red mud can also be found. The comparison composition shows that the calcium carbonate content in simply red mud is higher. Beta red mud has more hazardous elements such as arsenic, lead, and mercury, and both have a high concentration of radioactivity. And that dust is blowing into your fields. There should be a criminal investigation into the people that determined that that facility could go there. And another investigation as to the government officials who continue to allow it to be there. Has the aluminum plant and the red mud storage put Limerick on the slippery slope of becoming a sacrifice area? Well, if the Irish cement plan to burn waste in the cement kiln goes ahead, I suggest it is. This will be the second downwards step. Let me say this. You know, when people talk about jobs, everybody wants jobs, everybody wants economic development. But the moment you cash in your environment, you've cashed in your last card. It's the last card you have to use is a clean environment. When you get rid of that, everything else goes to pot.